Good afternoon. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to the monthly senior program birthday party. Jim Berner is going to give us stylings of music that is popular during the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So
My favorite music is 1945 to 1954. How about back in 1905, there was a young guy who he was born in 1905. When he was 10 years old, his dad had a band, and the young kid learned how to play the fiddle just like his dad. Well, sometimes his dad would have too much touch of the grape and he couldn't perform, so the 10-year-old kid would fill in for him. Everybody loved to hear the 10-year-old kid playing, except hanging around bars every weekend wasn't too good. By 1935, he had the same problem his dad did. Sometimes he would have too much to drink. And he also had a band in 1935. One night they're going to do a show down in Texas. The owner of the club looked up on the stage and didn't see the leader of the band there. He went over and said, "Where is your leader? If he's on that stage, you're not getting paid." Well, they said, "We'll find him." They ran around town. They found him at another place. He was in no condition to stand up, let alone sing. They hauled him back to where he was supposed to be singing. They put a chair in the middle of the stage and they tied him in. They left his hand loose so he could do a little trademark with his 10-gallon Stetson. If you remember back in 1939, remember Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys? Deep within my heart lies a melody, a song of old San Antone, where in dreams I live with a memory beneath the stars all alone. It was there I found beside the Alamo enchantment strange as the blue up above, a moonlit path only she would know. Still hears my broken song of love. Moon in all your splendor knows only my heart. Call back my rose, rose of San Antone. Lips so sweet and tender like petals falling apart. Speak once again of my love, my own, a broken song. Empty words I know still live in my heart all alone. From that moonlit path beside the Alamo and rose, my rose of San Antone. You remember what Bob Wills' trademark was? Uh-huh. Let's hear y'all do a uh-huh. It's got to really be loud, though. Anytime you feel like it, just give out a uh-huh. Moon in all your splendor knows only my heart. Call back my rose, rose of San Antone. Lips so sweet and tender like petals falling apart. Speak once again of my love, my own, a broken song. Empty words I know still live in my heart all alone. From that moonlit path beside the Alamo and rose, my rose of San Antone. Yes, my rose of San Antone. Are you ready? Bob Wills. Gene Autry was very upset with Bing Crosby because every song that he'd come up with, Bing Crosby would steal it. You can sing along with this one. The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. The prairie sky is high and wide, deep in the heart of Texas. Now you can sing along with this. Sage in bloom is like perfume, deep in the heart of Texas. Reminds me of the one I love, deep in the heart of Texas. You remember that, 1944? We all sang that. I don't hear any ahs. The coyotes wail along the trail, deep in the heart of Texas. The rabbits rush around the brush, deep in the heart of Texas. The cowboys cry, yippee-ki-yi-yi. Deep in the heart of Texas, the doggies bawl and bawl and bawl. Deep in the heart of Texas, deep in the heart of Texas, deep in the heart of Texas. Why, thank you. How about a little history lesson? Back 1867 about. There was a young kid that had 8 brothers that were doctors and lawyers, and he was the black sheep of the family. The rest of the family was doing just fine, but all he liked to do was sing songs, write songs, but most of all, get drunk. And that's what he did most of the time. Well, one morning in 1867, he had a bad hangover, and they hauled him into, well, he slipped and hit his head on a kitchen sink, and they hauled him into Bellevue Hospital. And the doctor said, there's nothing we can do for you, but we'll give you a place to sleep. Well, that night he died. The next day they went through his things to find out who he was. They found he was 37 years old. They found $3.50 in his pocket. They found a little piece of paper for a song that he wanted to write. And they found his identification. His name was Stephen Foster. He'd written all these great songs. When he was 14 years old, he wrote the hit of the country, Oh, Susanna, Old Kentucky Home, Swanee River. I know down in Kentucky, there's a place called the Home of Stephen Foster. Don't bother to go there. He was never there himself. He was never farther south than Philadelphia. One time when he was 4 years old, his folks talked about a boat trip to New Orleans and back. But other than that, all those songs came out of his imagination. Well, in 1849, Sammy Fain, who wrote a lot of songs for Bing Crosby, heard about that story about, and he thought he would pick up where Stephen Foster left off, that little piece of paper that Stephen Foster wanted to write. Well, Sammy Fain wrote the song. The little piece of paper said, Dear Friends and Gentle Hearts. And Sammy Fain wrote this one for Bing Crosby back then. One of my favorite ones around 1952. I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live in my hometown, because those dear hearts and gentle people will never ever let you down. They read the good book from Friday till Monday, that's how the weekend goes. I've got a dream house I'll build there one day, with picket fence and rambling roads. I feel so welcome each time that I return, that my happy heart keeps laughing like a clown. I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live and love in my hometown. There's a place I'd like to go, and it's back to Idaho, where the friendly people smile and say hello. Why, it's a pleasure and a treat to meander down the street. That's why I'd like this whole wide world to know. I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live in my hometown, because those dear hearts and gentle people will never ever let you down. They read the good book from Friday till Monday, that's how the weekend goes. I've got a dream house I'll build there one day, with picket fence and rambling roads. I feel so welcome each time that I return, that my happy heart keeps laughing like a clown. I love those dear hearts and gentle people who live and love in my hometown. Home, home, sweet home. Home, home, sweet home. Home, home, sweet home. Home, home, sweet home. Bing! Well, I think, Bing Crosby wasn't like the other singers. The other singers, they would have to go into the studio and hunt down a song and then record a song and print up a bunch of records, send them out, and hope they would sell. Bing Crosby didn't do that. He played golf and listened on the radio. If a song started going up on the charts, then he would go into the studio and he would record it. He would actually steal everybody else's songs. Well, because of, matter of fact, in 1947, if you turned your radio on in 1947 and you heard a song on the radio, it had to be a live band. The union rule said it had to be a live orchestra. Bing Crosby didn't want to spend his time in the studio, so he went to, I believe it was CBS, and said, I want to record my stuff. And they said, no, you can't. The union rules say you can't do that. So he dumped him, went to the other station, and they said, you can record anything you want. Well, in 1948, because he could record all of his music on the radio, he was heard for over 80,000 hours in 1948 on the radio. You couldn't turn your radio on, spin the dial without hearing Bing sing somewhere. Well, because of that, at the end of 1948, he was considered the most respected man in the country. Well, there was one guy who was a band leader who was pretty upset about this because all of a sudden the singers now were making more than the whole band was. And he didn't go for that, so he thought the only way to beat him is to join him. Well, he took the melody from an old song, When Johnny Comes Marching Home, and he came out with this. So the song had been out before, but he made it popular in 1950. The songwriter was Vaughn Monroe. Can you think of a song that used that melody? Let me just play part of it. When Johnny comes marching home again, hurrah, hurrah. We'll give my hearty welcome and hurrah, hurrah. Men will cheer, the boys will shout, the ladies they will all turn out, and we'll all be there when Johnny comes marching home. What song in 1949 sounded like that? You can't think of what? Uncle Poke went riding out one dark and windy day. Upon a ridge he rested as he went along his way. All at once somebody heard of red-eyed cows he saw plowing through the ragged skies. Up the cloudy draw. Their brands are still on fire and their hooves are made of steel. One's black and shiny and they're hot but they could feel. A bolt of fear went through them as they thundered through the sky. For we saw the riders coming hard, heard their mournful cry. Yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yay. Yippee-ki-yo, ghost riders in the sky. When's the last time you were on a horse? As the riders looked on by him, he heard one call his name. Want to save your soul from hell riding on a range? Well, cowboy, change your ways, today you're with us, you will ride, trying to catch the devil's herd across these endless skies. Yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yo, ghost riders in the sky. Yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yo, ghost riders in the sky. Ghost riders in the sky. Ghost riders in the sky. Vaughn Monroe, 1949. It was the first time they ever put echo or reverb on a song. Vaughn Monroe. I had a request, so we should do something about that. There was one guy he was considered country. Anyway, when he was about 15 years old, he had a friend by the name of Jimmy Green. Jimmy Green had a famous uncle back then, Lonzo Green. This is down in the Tennessee area. And Lonzo was going to come and stay with Jimmy and his family to do a program, to do a show. Well, when Jimmy found out that Lonzo was going to stay with him, he ran and got a couple of his buddies, 15-year-old buddies. They said, come on over. My famous uncle's got a real guitar, and he'll show you how to do it. Well, one of the kids said, well, you know, I got a guitar for my 11th birthday, and I wanted a bicycle. And I've never used the guitar. I don't know how to tune it or anything like that. Think he could show me? I said, sure, come on over. He'll show you. Well, they ran over to Jimmy's house, and Jimmy ran in the house and said, Lonzo, can you show my friend how to tune his guitar and do a song or two for him? Lonzo says, sure, come on, bring him right in. Well, Jimmy says, well, I can't do that. He said, what do you mean you can't do that? He says, yeah, Mama says those are guys from the other side of the tracks and they steal, and they ain't allowed in the house. So Lonzo went outside and sat on the curb, and he showed him how to tune the guitar, and he showed him a few chords. And he sang a few songs for him, and after about a half hour, Lonzo got up, and the kids were just all smiley and perky and really tickled about seeing a real guitar player in front of them. And they went skipping down the road. Well, that was the end of it for Lonzo until about 4 years later. He was driving down the road, and on the radio he heard the name of one of those kids that wasn't allowed in the house because they steal. He was a country kid. Sitting home all alone. If you can't come around, at least please telephone. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Elvis, baby, if I make you mad, this is just for Marge. I might have said, please forget the past. The future looks bright ahead. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. Why should we be apart? I really love you, baby, 'cause of my heart. Whoa, let's walk up to the preacher and let us say you do. Then you know you'll have me, and I know I'll have you. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love. Baby, it's just you I'm thinking of. How many of you gals liked Elvis? You think he's still around? There's a lot of things you didn't know. I was going to tell Marge about it, but a lot of things you didn't know about Elvis. Stop the music a minute. I don't want to get too deep into it, but there's a few things about Elvis. One, he was broke. How come? Well, he lost Sammy Davis Jr. had lunch with him one day and said, whatever you do, don't go to Las Vegas. They'll eat you alive down there. Well, unbeknownst to Elvis, the Colonel booked him in Las Vegas for $50,000 a show. Well, where was the Colonel when the Elvis was singing? He was on the roulette wheel, betting on every number. Over a period of 3 months, the Colonel lost $10 million. He lost it to Big Paul Castellano. Big Paul, he called up and says, how are you going to pay me? The Colonel, if you remember the agreement the Colonel had, 50-50 on the money, but Elvis had to do everything the Colonel said. The Colonel told Big Paul Castellano, you can have Elvis's gate receipts till it's paid. $50,000, you divide that into 10 million. Elvis would be working for nothing for the next 5 years. He said, that's it for me, I'm out of here. A couple of little details, though. About 10 days before Elvis so-called disappeared, he cashed in one of his $1 million policies because he needed the cash, life insurance policies. There's 2 of the policies that have still never been cashed in. Another one, too, that people haven't observed, too. Elvis was in the service, wasn't he? How come he didn't have a flag on his casket? Maybe because he wasn't in there. That would not be right. His name was misspelt on the grave. He didn't want to jinx himself. There's a doctor in Kansas City who says he's been treating Elvis for 5 years. He swore in a court of law that he was treating Elvis. You think so? I remember one of his last shows at the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. He came out on stage and he didn't wiggle, giggle, and sparkle like he used to. 50 pounds of overweight was just tearing his heart apart. Everything in his life had just gone to pot. His love life had gone, the money was gone. Just about everything in his life had just... The only thing he had no friends left. The only thing he really had left, the one thing that never let him down, the one thing he could always count on, of course, that was his voice. When no one else can understand me, when everything I do is wrong, you give me hope and consolation. You give me strength to carry on, and you're always there to lend a hand in everything I do. That's the wonder, yes, the wonder of you. And when you smile, the world is brighter. You touch my hand and I'm a king. Your kiss to me is worth a fortune. Your love for me is everything. I guess I'll never know the reason why you love me as you do. That's the wonder, yes, the wonder of you. I guess I'll never know the reason why you love me as you do. That's the wonder, yes, the wonder of you. Elvis. Just for Marge, I'm going to bring him with next time. Think about that. Matter of fact, there is a guy on television. If you go on YouTube and look up a guy that, I don't know, he's not an impersonator. He just looks like Elvis. He's about the same age. He's got white hair. He's got a grandson that looks identical to Elvis's kid. Elvis always wanted to be a preacher. This guy is a preacher. And when he sings Elvis songs, he does all the inflections that Elvis used to do that would be impossible for somebody to really learn unless you knew him for a long, long time. They also did a voice print. It's 98% identical to Elvis. Is he around? Marge, is he? She's with the fan club. Oh, there's so many good stuff. How about, 1956? By 1956, country music was just being stomped all over by rock and roll. You'd go see a country show for 35 cents, and the guy would sing a song, and you'd clap, and the next guy would get up and sing a song, and everybody would clap and sit down. Across the street for the same 35 cents, they were dancing on the tables and going crazy. Rock and roll was just taking all the money out of the music business. Well, there was one guy who didn't care for that kind of stuff. Matter of fact, he was a good friend of Chet Atkins. Chet Atkins was one of the mover shakers out of Nashville background, well, all through the 50s into the 60s. And matter of fact, Chet's golf partner didn't like that rock and roll stuff. And he was in Chet's office one day, and he was showing Chet how he's going to use his hips to swing his clubs. And he accidentally knocked a whole stack of music into the garbage. And he apologized for it and dug it out and asked Chet what it was. And Chet says, well, back in 1953, I met a guy by the name of Marvin Moore. And like, you know how people are, they always say they're going to do something. Well, this Marvin Moore says someday he's going to write a hit record, a hit song. And once a month, like clockwork, I get a copy from Marvin Moore in the mail. And that stack you knocked in the garbage, those are all his songs. I've never looked at them. I'll probably never get around to looking at them. So if there's something you want, go ahead and take it. Well, the golf partner went through there and picked out about 6 songs. And one of the songs, he did very few revisions, and Marvin Moore got his wish. He got a #1 hit record. The golf partner was Jim Reeves. And this song he literally dug out of the garbage. You could sing along. Out where the bright lights are glowing, you're drawn like a moth to a flame, no dancers. You laugh with the wine's overflowing, while I sit and whisper your name. Sing along. 4 walls to hear me, 4 walls to see, 4 walls to hear me, closing in on me. Sometimes I ask why I'm waiting, but my walls have nothing to say. Oh, I'm made for love, not for hating. So here where you left me, I'll stay. 4 walls to hear me, 4 walls to see, 4 walls to hear me, closing in on me, closing in on me. Jim Reeves. All right, thank you. Anyone asleep yet? Let me stay. Well, how about better do a little peppier one here. About a guy was he graduated from Votech School back in 1952. He couldn't find a job as an agriculturalist or whatever, a horticulturalist. So his dad said, "Why don't you go into business with my brother, his uncle?" And he said, "In order to do that, first you better practice up so you know what you're doing." The kid practiced so much he wrote a song about his work. He came out with a song in 1956. Everybody loved it, threw him into the music business. Since 1956, he's done 150 shows a year. He's never missed a night performance. He's 89 years old this summer. He's still in the road, still doing the casino circuits. You could keep an eye out for him. I remember Leroy Van Dyke. He'll come and sing this little song for you. Hey, all right, 7.29, 1.4, $5 better, 40, 45 extra. Anybody remember this one? There was a boy from Arkansas who wouldn't listen to his ma when she told him that he should go to school. He'd sneak away in the afternoon, take a little walk, and pretty soon you'd find him at that local auction barn. He'd sit and listen carefully, then pretty soon he began to see how the auctioneer could talk so rapidly. He said, "Oh my, it's do or die, I've got to learn that auction cry, gotta make my mark and be an auctioneer." Everybody sing. $25 bid, $30 bid, $30 bid, $30, holy bid, $30. Somebody here bid a $5 bill. Hey, $30 bid now, 35 makes 30 bid, 35, holy bid, 35. Somebody here bid a $35 bill. Now you go, oh. Well, he practiced hard, he did his best, and all could see he didn't jest. He practiced call and bits both night and day. Pap would find him behind the barn, just working up an awful storm as he tried to imitate the auctioneer. You're not singing. And Pap said, son, we cannot stand to have a mediocre man sell things at auction using our good name. I'll send you off to auction school, and you will be nobody's fool. You'll take your place among the very best. A $35 bid, $40 bid, $40 bid, $40, holy bid, $40. Somebody here bid a $45 bill. Yeah, $40 bid, yeah, 45, make the $40 bid, about 45, holy bid, 45. Somebody here bid a $45 bill. From that boy who went to school, there grew a man who played it cool. He came back home a full-fledged auctioneer. People came from miles around just to hear him make the rhythmic sound that filled their hearts with such a love and cheer. His fame had spread from shore to shore. He had all he could do and more. Had to buy a plane to get around. He's the best in all the land. Let's stand and give that man a hand. He is the best hillbilly auctioneer. $45 bid, $50 bid, $50, holy bid, $50. Somebody here bid a $55 bill. Yeah, $50 bid now, 55, make the bid, $55, holy bid, 55. Sold that cow for a $50 bill. Hey, well, all right, so number 30 mark, penny over to Fort, $25 bid of 30, 35 make it a 40, 45 make it a 50. Leroy Van Dyke, 89 years old, still in the road, still going strong. No plans to retire. Good old Leroy. Why, thank you. We better do this guy here. I don't know if you don't remember. My hair is normally whiter than all of yours. I was on WCCO radio how many years ago? I know you don't have the slightest idea, but 73 years ago. I was on Cedric Adams' Stairway to Stardom, December 1946. I took first place in that. I was there. 3 weeks after I was there, 19-year-old Mel Torme was on the program. Look at his career. No, that was a big deal because that was national radio. They didn't have all the TV stations and all the other things, and 50,000 watts went across half the country. About 3 months after I was on national radio, a skinny kid from Lower Alabama finally got to national radio. He was on local radio, but never on national radio. You could sing along with this one. You remember this? Maybe you don't remember them. Remember Hank Williams Sr.? I made it there before he did on national radio. Everybody sing this one. Hey, hey, you're good looking. What you got cooking? How's about cooking something up really loud? Hey, hey, sweet baby. Hey, sweet baby. Don't you think maybe we could find us a brand new recipe? I got a hot rod Ford and a $2 bill, and I know a spot right over the hill where so deep pop and the dancing is free. If you wanna have fun, come along with me. Hey, you good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? I don't hear any ahas out there. I'm free and ready, so we could go steady. How's about saving all your time for me? Well, no more looking, I know to being tooken. How's about keeping steady company? I'm gonna throw my date book over the fence, buy me one for 5 or 10 cents. Keep it till it's covered with age, and write your name down on every page. Hey, you good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? How's about cooking something up with me? Good old Hank. Well, you know, about around 1960, one of the mover shakers down in Nashville was Fair and Young. Fair and Young went to the guys in charge of the Grand Ole Opry and says, you know, there's been a guy out here for 4 or 5 years, and you've never had him on the Opry. How come? Well, both the two guys agreed, well, one, he's a lousy guitar player, and two, he can't hardly sing on key. And Farron says, you know, that might be true, but I do know one thing. Crowd goes absolutely nuts, and he walks out on that stage, and all he has to say is, I'm Johnny Cash. Hear the train of coming G's are rolling around that bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. Time keeps dragging on, but that train keeps a-rolling on down to San Antone. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. And I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Oh, I know I had it coming. Hang my head and cry. Pick a daisy. Luther Perkins was his guitar player that gave him that chug-chug sound. Johnny didn't always sing on key, but he couldn't sell cars, he couldn't sell appliances. Could sell records, though. $500 million worth. Not too bad. Johnny. Well, here to bet those rich folks eating in them fancy dining cars. Probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. And I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. That's where I'll always stay. Yeah, let that lonesome whistle just blow my blues away. If 3 me from that prison and that railroad track was mine, but I'd move it on a little farther down the line. Far from Folsom Prison, that's where I long to be. But that train keeps moving, and that's what tortures me. Ooh. Johnny Cash. Why, thank you. See how your memory is. You remember what the song of the year was in 1959? Nobody remembers. That wasn't that long ago. 59? Huh? No, that came out in 57. Matter of fact, the singer who came out with the song, Dick Clark, told him, do not sing that song, it'll destroy your career. Kids don't want to hear that opera junk, they want to hear rock and roll. Bobby Darin knew different. Turned out to be the #1 song of the year. Remember Bobby Darin? Every night I hope and pray, dream a lover will come my way. A girl to hold in my arms, and know the magic of a charm. That's the one. A girl to call my own. I want a dream lover, so I don't have to dream alone. That wasn't the song of the year, it's the next one. A dream lover, where are you? With the love oh so true, and a hand that I can hold. Keep you near as I grow old, because I want a girl to call my own. I want a dream lover, so I don't have to dream alone. Someday, I don't know how, I hope she'll hear my plea. Some way, I don't know how, she'll bring her love to me. A dream lover, until then I'll go to sleep and dream again. That's the only thing to do, till all my lovers' dreams come true. Because I want a girl to call my own. I want a dream lover, so I don't have to dream alone. Please don't make me dream alone. Well, Bobby looked down front row center. Who's sitting there? The biggest critic of them all, Frank Sinatra. And this song was the number one. Next one is the number one of the year. He said, Frank, I got a song maybe you'd like because it's got more than 4 chords. This one. Song of the year, 1960. Oh, this shop, babe, has such teeth yet, and it shows them pearly white. Just a jackknife has old Mackie, babe, and it keeps it out of sight. You know when the shark bites with his teeth, babe, scarlet billows start to spread. Fancy gloves, though, wears old Mackie, babe, so there's never trace of red. On the sidewalk, my oh Sunday morning, lies a body just oozing life. Hey, someone sneaking round the corner. That someone be Mac the knife. There's a tugboat down by the river, don't you know, where a cement bag just a drooping on down. Oh, that cement is just, it's there for the weight, yeah. Papa, get you 10 old Mackies back in town. You hear about Louis Miller? He disappeared, babe, after drawing out oh his hard-earned cash. And now Mac, he spent just like a sailor. Could it be a poison something right? Just said Jenny Diver. Oh, Suki Tawdry, look out for Miss Lottie Lincoln, and old Lucy Brown. Oh, the line falls on the right, babe. Now that Mackie's back in town, I said Jenny Diver. Oh, Suki Tawdry, look out for Miss Lottie Lincoln, and old Lucy Brown. Oh, the line falls on the right, babe. Now that Mackie's back in town. Look at old Mackie is back. We might as well do this one. Do you like Frank? Strangers in the night, exchanging glances, wandering in the night. What were the chances we'd be sharing love before the night was through? Something in your eyes was so exciting, something in your smile was so inviting, something in my heart told me I must have you. Strangers in the night, two lonely people, we were strangers in the night. Up to that moment when we said our first hello, little did we know love was just a glance away, a warm embracing dance away. And ever since that night we've been together, lovers at first sight, and love forever. It turned out so right for strangers in the night. Frank. You like Frank? Ain't talking, huh? Up to that moment when we said our first hello, little did we know love was just a glance away, a warm embracing dance away. And ever since that night we've been together, lovers at first sight, in love forever. It turned out so right for strangers in the night. This part, you know, sing along. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Frank just never liked to finish anything. If he was doing a movie shoot, if you didn't get him the first time, he was gone. It turned out so right for strangers in the night. Frank. Stop the music. Wait a minute. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friends, oh, say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I've traveled each and every byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I'd planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now as tears subside, oh, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that. May I say, not in a shy way, oh no, no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way. Oh. This one here, George Strait is one of her favorite singers. And George Strait had a song, and the song was written down in Texas about 15 years before George Strait got a hold of it. Dallas Frazier wrote it, but he wrote it because he saw a truck go by with advertising. It said, when you're good, when you're whatever it was, had to be there positively, absolutely overnight. But anyway, this is the song that he wrote. This one. Amarillo by Morning. This is for Marge. Amarillo by morning, up from San Antonio. Everything I've got is just what I've got on. When the sun is high in that Texas sky, I'll be bucking at the county fair. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo, I'll be there. They took my saddle in Houston, broke my leg in Santa Fe. Lost my wife and a girlfriend somewhere along the way. Well, they poked the 4-8s when they pulled that gate, and I hope the judge ain't blind. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo's on my mind. Amarillo by morning, up from San Antonio. Everything I've got is just what I've got on. I ain't got a dime, but what I got is mine. I ain't rich, but Lord, I'm free. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo's where I'll be. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo's where I'll be. George Strait. That's for Marge. How about, you remember 1969? When a guy come out and he'd say, I'm Glenn Campbell. What a career he had. The number 3 best guitar player in the country. I said a lineman for the county, and I drive the main road, searching in the sun for another overload. I can hear you through the wire, I can hear you through the wine, and the Wichita lineman is still on the line. I know I need a small vacation, but it don't look like rain. And if it snows, that stretch down south could never stand the strain. And I need you more than want you. I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line. Glenn Campbell, he quit school when he was 15 years old. You heard him on about 485 of the best songs. He backed up Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Almost everybody, you heard his guitar on there. And I need you more than want you. I want you for all time. And the Wichita lineman is still on the line. Glenn Campbell. How about another just a little short one here? You know, the last band I had, I wanted them to do one song a little faster than usual, so I had to do my own version. The original song took 3 minutes and 10 seconds. I do it in about a minute and a half. I've been everywhere, man, I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts, bare man, I breathe the mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share, man, I've been everywhere. Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Cool, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oakland, Tampa, Panama, State, Omo, Burnsville, Baltimore, Richfield, Springfield, Litchfield, what it is. I've been everywhere, man, I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts, bare man, I breathe the mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share, man, I've been everywhere. Been to Austin, Charleston, Dayton, Louisiana, Washington, Houston, Kingston, Texas, Monterey, Faraday, Santa Fe, California, Tennessee, Hennessy, Chicory, Spirit Lake, Around Lake Creek, Lake, there was Beach Lake. I've been everywhere, man, I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts, bare man, I breathe the mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share, man, I've been everywhere. This again is a sing-along, so get ready. Louisville, Nashville, Knoxville, Lubbock, Shuffleton, Renville, Waterloo, Costa Rica, Pittsfield, Springfield, Bear, Shreveport, Hackensack, Cadillac, Fort Knight, Airport, Idaho, Telegraph, Hamilton, Newman, Tennessee, Tennessee, for me. I've been everywhere, man, I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts, bare man, I breathe the mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share, man, I've been everywhere. Pittsburgh, Parkburg, Ramburg, Colorado, Vicksburg, Vicksburg, Ellar, Hathmore, Hamster, Webster, Chaska, Tasca, Nebraska, Last, Baraboo, Waterloo, Kalamazoo, Kansas City, City, I'd say where to be out, but everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Cross the deserts, bare man, I breathe the mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share, man.
Name some place you haven't been.
I've been everywhere. Stop at the music. Thank you. I got to tell you, I don't know. We were down in Nassau one time. We'd been there half a dozen times, but we'd never gone to Paradise Island, so we thought we'd better go check it out and see what it is. You see it on the commercial, just a big tourist trap. They have a casino in there. Well, we went in there, and my wife says, let's get out of here. So we walked out, and in the entryway, there was a big Polynesian chair, and next to there was a guy sitting on a little electric scooter. And I went over, I said, you who I think you are? He says, I don't know who you think I am. I said, I just paid $35 to see you at Mystic Lake, and if I wanted to talk to you, I'd have to wait for an hour to get in line and pay another $35 to join your fan club, and here you are sitting here. He says, pull up a chair. It was George Jones. We talked for about 20 minutes. Never thought about having a picture or anything, but my wife said, why do you want a picture of you for? Anyway, I remember George had all his troubles back around, it was in 1980. He'd gotten divorced from Tammy and for doing a lot of dumb things like taking the power mower to the liquor store via the freeway. Not a good idea. Anyway, George got a call one night from the guys down Studio B. He says, come on down, we got a song I want you to listen to. And George went down and listened to the song. He said, that's a dumb song. That's a horrible song. Why would somebody want to sing that song? They said, George, you haven't had a hit record in 3 years. If you don't come up with something, you're going to be out of the music. We're going to just drop you. He said, well, there's something wrong with it. Send it back and put another verse to it or something. There's something wrong with it. Well, they did. They sent it back. A couple of weeks later, they called up George and says, come on down tomorrow. We're going to start recording, see what happens. And George had a copy of the original one, but he didn't have the second part of it. Well, he showed up the next morning about 9 o'clock in the morning, bad hangover. That was George. Well, they tried everything under the sun to camouflage his voice, to hide all the slurring that he was doing. And nothing seemed to work. By about 2 in the afternoon, they were about ready to give up. And who walked in the back door? Tammy and her new husband. And she sat on the back, but it's a room about this size, sat in a booth way in the back, and a light shone down on her. And light shone down on her. And George came out of the coffee shop and walked into the sound booth. And once he saw her, he sobered up real quick. And he sang the song to her, and it turned out to be his best song. Turned out, some people say it's probably the best country song ever written. This one. This be the last one? What's that? Till I die. She said you'll forget in time, but as time went slowly by, she still preyed upon his mind. He kept her picture on his wall, went half crazy now and then, but he still loved her through it all, just hoping she'd come back again. He kept some letters by his bed, dated 1962, and he had underlined in red every single I love you. Well, I went to see him just today, but I didn't see no tears, all dressed up to go away. First time I'd seen him smile in years, and he stopped loving her today. They placed that wreath upon his door, soon they'll carry him away. He stopped loving her today. Well, she came to see him one last time, and we all wondered if she would. And it kept running through my mind, this time he's over her for good. And he stopped loving her today. They placed that wreath upon his door, soon they'll carry him away. He stopped loving her today. George Jones. Are you ready? Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the Lawrence Welk program. You know, when Lawrence Welk was a little kid in 2nd grade, he raised his hand and the teacher said, "Yes, Lawrence?" He says, "I have to go a 1 and a 2. Just a little advice to some of you people I should mention. My sister is 81 years old, and she dated an 85-year-old guy the other day, and they went to a movie, and I asked her how to go, and she said I had to slap him 3 times. I said, "Why, did he get fresh with you? What?" "No, he fell asleep." Are you ready to sing this song, everybody? Woo, woo, woo. Are we going to have some birthday people? Everybody sing loud, really loud. Everybody. Roll out, we'll have a barrel. Roll out the barrel, we'll put the blues on the run. Sing Monterera,
Sing out the song of good cheer. It's time to roll the barrel. The gang's all here. Woo. We want to thank Jim very much. I'm sure we all enjoyed his stories. It certainly gave us a lot of new information, and I saw a lot of people in the audience closing their eyes, remembering where they were and who they were with when they heard the songs. A lot of memories here. So again, a big round of applause for Jim Berner. Thank you. We are now going to move on to the birthday portions. We've got the birthdays for July and August. Okay, I believe we have 4 that have July birthdays and 2 that have August birthdays. Okay,